At the age of 12, I learned that real men read the Bible all the way straight through. You know, not just a spoonful of medicine, but chug-a-lug on the bottle. So I started in on Genesis, Abraham, Isaac, Jacob, picked up a little steam, the wilderness wanderings, and then Leviticus. One ritual after another, one temple rule after another. Just couldn't get through. My manhood was still in question. I remember at the Christian high school I attended, most of us were afraid of letting the Bible really get hold of us. We knew about the people who carried Bibles around all the time. They were a bit strange. Virtue seemed wrapped around them like some packing wire. Yes, it was amazing how the Bible transformed from foreign language, boring dinner guest, to electrified text. God could be my personal tutor. I was learning amazing things. One morning, on a student missionary program in Japan, I was reading scripture and some Pauline text kept grabbing me. Familiar exhortations, build up one another, encourage one another. And as I was staring out the window at a tree, I felt an urge to rip these verses from the page and take them out into the next 16 waking hours and make them do something. I imagined a rendezvous with those verses. So I said, Lord, lead me to someone I can really help today. I went through my usual morning classes, teaching in a Christian language school, expectant. Nobody threw themselves at my feet, show me the light. Then it was staff meeting, the usual boring exchanges. Afterwards, a fellow teacher, Peggy, stopped me in the hallway. I need to talk to you. She had an unsettling directness. Can we go somewhere? We went to an empty classroom, and there she spilled the beans. Peggy felt like a fake, didn't know why she'd ever come to Japan, supposed to teach Bible classes. She unleashed a flood of insecurity. Her dysfunctional family background made her feel so inadequate. You have to understand, nothing like this had ever happened to me before. I had not been much of a listener or shoulder to cry on, just the old male cliche, quiet, self-sufficient, content with work and an occasional game of football. My roommate and I exchanged maybe 5 sentences during my senior year in college, and we were good friends. But on that occasion, I was buzzing inside. This was the rendezvous with verses. Build up one another. Suddenly I became all ears. I absorbed her frustration. And then I suggested that the Word could become her personal tutor. I'd seen it, transformed. And I led her through devotional studies that opened her up to, yes, God teaching. Peggy, much more confident. And so did another teacher who poured out her troubles to me. Another troubled family background. And I led her through devotional studies. That frail girl started claiming promises for sophisticated businessmen in her classes. Started moving people with the gospel. I was amazed how God created another life in here. This self-sufficient dude into himself became the one teachers came to when troubled. Yes, the words of Scripture did take me to such a different place. After years of writing and producing for Christian television, a dramatic presentation took over. Chosen Garment, the whole Bible in one act. It has drawn wonderful responses in churches across America, and I have found it so rewarding, so fulfilling. I can't tell you how amazed I am and how much God changing the Word for me meant. From boring dinner guest to the most compelling story I've ever heard, the most fulfilling career I can imagine.